So I want to talk about Slither, the new song, and sort of the process between the three of you in terms of, first writing it and then passing it from person to person and sort of developing it. So how old is that song?
I'd say that song now is about going on 2 months.
2 months, okay.
Yeah.
And did you write it by yourself, and then you and Emily worked on it, or what was that progression like?
Yeah, I was. It's one of those one of the rare occasions for me. I don't know if it happens to a lot of songwriters or not, but I was riding down the road and the melody just kind of hopped into my head,
Mm-hmm.
and so I went home and started working on it, and it kind of all just fell together. That tune did really easily, and so after that, yeah, I presented it to Emily, and then we kind of arranged it and worked it out to how it is now.
Emily, what's the first thing you remember about that song, about Slither?
I remember loving it because I've always had a thing for snakes. And so I thought that theme kind of going through the song was really cool. And Andrew wasn't really sold on it at first. And sometimes I have to, encourage him on parts that I think are really cool that he's not sure if he likes or not. But I was really attracted to that song from the beginning. And it was just, we always, whenever he has a new song, we kind of play around with it all different ways with all different instruments and try and find, what fits it the best. And that one just kind of felt good no matter how we did it. So some of them are really easy like that. He just writes them and we do them and it's awesome. And then other ones it's months of working it out and never quite being satisfied with it.
Andrew, what was your hesitation with that song?
It was just the opening line. I thought it was kind of intense to start a tune up, but I'm glad it stuck because I like it now. Sure.
How was it just for this that Ryan finally heard it, or had you guys played it before?
I think we worked on it because Ryan played with us down at the Saxon Hall Music Series,
Mm-hmm.
and I presented that song to the band to do, but it was just one that kind of got pushed to the side, and so yeah, I think that was the first time you heard it, right?
Yeah.
What do you remember about that song, kind of first time? What were you trying to what were you trying to play to?
Well, I generally try to, if I ever play with them especially, my goal is for no one to notice I played, and then that generally means I, didn't mess anything up too bad and just sat in there.
Sure.
So, with that song, and a lot of times in shows, I'll try to make notes in practice just because there's so much I have to learn, and I remember in that song, originally thinking it was going to be hard for me to remember everything, but that's kind of a nice thing about when you just try to sit back and see if you can do it. But I don't know. I love all of Andrew's songs. That one's definitely a good one. I've never heard him do a bad song. It's kind of if I had heard someone else do that song, I definitely would have thought it sounded like a song Andrew would do. So it's something very enduring about it.
Sure. Tell me about your own songwriting, your own sort of approach. Is it more solitary, you think, than Andrew's, or?
I don't know. It depends. Lately it's been different than in the past, so I'll talk about the past. Because I had a lot more songs then, and it's pretty. I'm not sure if it's something that's necessarily special, or if it's just that. I didn't do anything else and would just try every day, all the time. So it's definitely a long process to get a song, not to get that one particular song, but it's every day I would basically play and try to write songs, and sometimes you finish one. What I'm trying to do now is learn how to actually work on a song over a period of time, whereas everything I've done, played today or so, was all wrote in just one sitting, or maybe not one sitting, but one day, and that's generally the only way I ever knew how to write songs, and so I would just try that every day, and then a few times every day, and then eventually just get enough songs out of it. So it is. A lot of these songs were also very. They are in the moment. They're very self-reflective. They're very. There's not much involved with them outside of my own life, I guess, and so it's always been hard for me to get outside of myself and write. It's never felt completely natural, so I guess that's how I ended up with these ones, and I'm trying to work on that.
What's the challenge and what are the challenges and rewards of sort of waiting and starting and then finishing later, or kind of letting it gestate more?
I think it's that I don't think it can happen your entire life, I guess, is why the new challenge is to have to continually to learn how, as you're changing as a person, to continue writing. I can't bet on being able to sit down every day and come up with a song I like, because every song you like, you want the next one to be better, so you're continually thinking your songs are worse and worse as you go along. And
they think that's funny, but
yeah.
it's not funny to you. Try it.
So I guess that's why I've been doing that, is because not that I haven't been writing songs, I just haven't liked the songs I've been writing, so lately it's been working on things, working on even just sounds, and working on trying to make it a little bigger than just a strange moment where something happened, make it something that's has more architecture and more things.
Sure.
I can see.
Those songs that you mentioned that you played today, I mean, and the songs on your first record, I mean, they're kind of not afraid to go to like the sort of the edge of go into dark territory.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess we're at the Center for the South. So that's one of the things that kind of continue to recognize in old folk songs, especially in the mountains and in bluegrass songs, is that they don't shy away from sort of that darkness. But where did you first recognize that as a listener? And that goes for you guys too. I mean, where?
I don't know. I guess it always seemed kind of natural. Like, when I started playing music in general was, not necessarily like escapist, it was, but it was also just an outlet of sort, which I know everyone says that, and everyone's probably not lying, but that's just the way it came out, I guess. And these are, happier feeling to me, at least. They're wrote from a little different perspective of, it's almost happy. Like, I haven't played some of the ones with more messed up lyrics, or more like, I guess, direct lyrics about darker things, but it's kind of refreshing to me just to like say it like it is, but it's kind of alright, like it doesn't really matter that I was happy or sad when I wrote these or anything like that. It was just what happened, so I guess it doesn't really bring me down or anything, which might be why me and many others aren't afraid to go there. Is it just it's what happens, and it's not really a big deal even. Like it doesn't really overall matter that much.
Sure.
So.
Andrew?
Yeah, I remember when I first heard somebody writing about death when it was actually just presented was I think it was an interview about or with Johnny Cash, like saying that that's mainly what he wrote about was death, and I guess it was what had happened to him in a early childhood. So I think that's when I realized that it was okay to write about darker elements, just because everybody can relate to them. Everybody's had, most people have had some sense of like loss or something like that, so I think everybody can relate. And I don't know, I always used this quote that my art teacher told me one time. She said you have to pay attention to the negative space in order to create the positive space. And so I feel like sometimes in talking about the darker elements, you kind of create a happier environment in an odd way. I feel like that's kind of the way it goes.
Sure.
I think a lot of people too, I personally feel this way, but based on what other people have told me as well, it feels somehow really good to listen to a really sad song or really angry song, even if there's not anything that happy about it somehow. I guess because we don't want to be thinking about those things all the time necessarily in our daily life, but just to listen to a song and get down in the song and let yourself feel that emotion with the song, but then not necessarily have to carry it all the time is something that people get into.
Sure, it's sort of an outlet where you can have that experience and then move on with your life. Yeah. That process for you, sort of in terms of listening to Andrew's songs for the first time, or anyone's songs that you're playing with, what's the first thing you kind of look for when you hear someone who's you're going to be playing with, what you're trying to do?
I don't. That's one thing that I think works well about us playing together is that I tend to. I don't really, when it comes to music, I don't really pick things apart and listen to individual sounds or think about individual parts of it. I really just hear the overall, and if I like the way it sounds, then I just play or I sing and it's just as simple as that. Whereas Andrew really picks things apart and is thinking about all the parts that make up a whole song or a whole sound. And I guess it was interesting when Andrew and I first started playing together because I had only really played in bluegrass bands and not with that many songwriters. And so when we first started playing together, I really just liked the way his songs sounded, and it wasn't me picking apart the lyrics and saying, wow, that was such a profound song. It was just fun and it worked well. And then over time, I started paying a lot more attention to the lyrics.
How about you as a sideman? I know you play with, obviously with these guys, but with other people too. What's your approach in terms of actually hearing what a songwriter is saying and sort of moving on from that, or adding to it?
I guess it depends on the approach. Like, I play in a few bands that are drastically different in sound and approach that it's brought to. Like in this band, the Light Pines, that I'm in, it's never use your first, third, fourth, maybe even fifth idea. Always try to do something that you wouldn't think of. Try to come up with a sound that you wouldn't normally just create, and then see if that works. And if that doesn't work, then you can work backward from that strange place that you don't know so well. With like if I'm playing with Mandolin Orange, I will try to take from more so all the things I've heard, and and then if the song is trying to be rockin', I'll try to be rockin' with it. I'll generally try to just make little floating noises, and I don't know. And I try not to play with anybody that I don't really like either. Like I don't do that, so that helps. I just try to see where they're coming from. What do you want? In the same way that when people play with me, I intentionally get the people I get because I know how they play or what they think like, and then you can just kind of be like, tonight, hit the drums as hard as you can when you have to, turn your guitar amps up and just let's be in a rock band tonight. And then some other show will be like, well, just really explore the space, but I don't know necessarily what I look for as much as just mess around myself until I feel like it fits, and then try to get from the other people what they're going for. If they're going for country licks, I have a couple.
Sure.